The highly underrated song, George Harrison's "Long, Long, Long." Such a sad song, and the guitar is like I always told you, it's a piece of metal and wood. It's a divining rod, a dowsing rod, a Ouija planchette, and there's so many physical elements that are involved: electricity, um, the physics and speed of sound, distance versus circumference versus feet per square inch versus sound distribution versus excursion of sound, the speed of subsonic sound, what happens when at certain volumes, and how if you were to take all my, I think I have 15 guitars now. Shut the fuck up. Take all 15 guitars, tune them up to 440, and put them in a room, the acoustics especially. And if I turn up my amp loud enough, I can hit two or three notes that'll make the whole room. The guitars will play by themselves. They'll start vibrating and resonating. With That's when amplitude versus physics, sound versus uh, objects that are at rest suddenly activated without hands. You can hit one note on a guitar or bass and turn up your amp, walk into the room, and make all 15 guitars start humming out the same note. I do that shit in guitar stores, and the other guys are like, "Whoa!" The Beatles did it on the beginning of "I Feel Fine." Lennon turned on his single coil pickup. It started feeding back, um, and then all the other guitars started buzzing. Paul's bass activated by itself. Ooh, yep. That all the guys gathered around the table for a séance in the dark to record a magic. That's why it's satanic. I mean, and the thing about it is when you stop, where it's always at is to make records. It's always that place for me. And I don't even want to be seen. When you make records, you could do what the Beatles would do. They would play. They were dealing with advanced mechanical engineers that basically almost wore lab coats to come in and record your shit down to calculus, down to perfect. And then they would fuck with 3.25 speed, seven and a half, 7.5 inches per second. Well, Paul's like, well, what happens if I record the bass at 7.5 inches per second and we slow it down to 3 1/3 and the key changes dramatically, but it doesn't matter because we don't have to perform this live ever again. And then Ringo comes in and who was recorded initially at 3 1/3, and my bass was recorded at 7.5 IPS, which means I had to play 3 2 4 6 three times faster. We slow it back down, and then Strawberry Fields, and then we're making shit in different pitches, different tempos, different fucking keys. And if we want to connect them in other keys, we'll find a way. It's through the magic of these two tape speeds. As long as we don't fuck with absolute pitch, and you just get masterpieces. I went my whole life and I didn't know that something like Rain was recorded at a breakneck funk tempo. And you're just like, holy shit. And then they slow it down to 3 1/3 and it's and you're like, why does the bass sound like that? Because all the physics that were recorded at 7.5 inches per second were slowed down to 3 1/3. And upon doing so, it got impregnated with new frequencies, new sonic realms, tones that it made the bass take on a characteristic that it would never have ordinarily, and the frequencies it was using and placement in the recording at that speed. That's fucking with time versus pitch versus tape bias. Just genius. Absolute fucking genius. You know, it's kind of like when you hear the piano piece. I used to do this on my Casio. The piano piece from In My Life, the Lennon song by the Beatles. And you hear that Baroque, that Wolfgang Beethoven spinet piano, that harpsichord / spinet. That's just an ordinary EMI piano solo that was recorded extremely slow at 3 1/3 in the same pitch, and then sped up to 7.5 IPS, and it sounds like it sounds like fucking Amadeus. But if you slow it down to 3 1/3 and you see what they really played, it's not all that hard. And that's what I would do. That's the thing about digital recording that you can't do. It's not OG. It's just that's where recording is at. Otherwise, it's just plug a mic into your computer. No, we're talking about the divinity and majesty of connecting microphones through a board, through vacuum tubes, matching impedance, matching ohms, matching signal to noise ratio, matching, equalization versus flat response versus pitch versus time versus. You can't do that with a computer. You can't. You had to be a fucking scientist and know this. I mean, that's what it's all about. You need to be creative. What's so great about digital? There's no need for a fucking studio, really. But I mean, like digital, it offers nothing. There's no challenges. I just record it into the computer, and it comes out like this. And it's like, well, that's the problem. You know? You gotta learn how to fucking manipulate objects. Oh, I'm pulling on Morgan's pigtails, pounding ass. My little bitch. Ah. Alabaster white ass cheeks. Oh, God. I can't even. She's still going. Keep going, fucker. Oh, no, just hold on. Oh, shit. With some big black socks on, complimenting the Goldilocks. Hell yeah. Oh, the black thong, black bra too, pushed up over. Hell yeah. Ooh, Morgan bot. She's gonna get it later. Taking it out on that ass later on.